Good morning. And actually, I'm not as young as I am. I do work for the governor's office. Before I talk to you about what I do, I want to talk to you about how I got there. I am Puerto Rican. I am one of 9 children. I was raised in Newark. I went to high school and grammar school in Newark. And I want to talk to you about obstacles that you are going to have to overcome in order to get where you want to go. And it is important to have an education, but more importantly, it's important to believe in yourself. And when I was in 8th grade, I had a teacher. I was placed in a bilingual class. My family moved from one area of Newark to another, and I got placed in a bilingual class because I was Puerto Rican, but I was born in the U.S. So I got placed in a bilingual class unnecessarily because they thought I didn't know how to speak English. I was born. And I got this teacher who gave me my first experience as to how to really truly believe in myself. When I got placed in that bilingual class, I became very insecure because I said, I'm smart, I know what I want, but I got placed in bilingual education because the educators in the state at that time thought that that's where I belong. So I kind of got a little rebellious, and I was a bad kid in my class. Until one day that my teacher got me mad, and I took the desk and I threw it right on the floor. Of course, my parents got called in, and yes, I had a mom and I had a dad, but they didn't realize that who wore the pants in the house was my mom, not my dad. And my mom came in, and after that, I never again threw the desk. But this teacher taught me one thing. When we were applying for the high schools, and they asked us, what do you want to be, indicate on this application? I said, well, I'm a female, I want to be a secretary. And the teacher looked at me and said, why do you want to be a secretary when you can be a doctor? And I said, I don't think so, I want to be a secretary. So I went to Eastside High School, and I majored in business. And then I had another teacher in a business class who said, why do you want to be in business? You're very bright, you're very smart, you can be a doctor. So I changed my major, and I started taking college prep courses. But then I had non-chemistry, I had a teacher who said, you're never going to make it, you're never going to go to college. And again, I believed that I wasn't college material. Well, I proved him wrong. I got accepted into one of the best universities in New Jersey, Drew University. And at Drew, I then had to deal with other obstacles. Our second semester as a freshman, everybody knows what February stands for, don't we? History Month. Well, Black History Month that year at Drew University, there was a team called the rugby team. Does anybody know what a rugby team is? You know what a rugby team is? No. Okay, rugby team is a team that plays football and soccer. Basically, we'll have no equipment on. And this particular rugby team decided that they were going to have a slave sale in February. So we were only 5 Latinos on campus and about 30 blacks, and we went to the president's office and said, no way, that's not going to happen. And it didn't happen. And we stopped it. And we were only 35 students, but we stopped it. And that really showed me that I can make a difference in this state, in this country, and I can succeed. I graduated from Drew University with a Gold T student leader, because I established the Hispanic cultural group on campus called Ariel. And I was on my way to med school, but unfortunately my dad died a week after graduation. And I was the oldest of the single women at home. There were 8 women and 1 boy. And I was the only college graduate. So I had to help my mom, because my mom's never worked in her life but raised 9 kids. And I had to let go of being a doctor, and I had to go to work. But I don't only write it because I'm in a position today that I'm making a difference for Latinos in New Jersey. I am Director of the Center for Hispanic Policy Research and Development, and our mission is to empower the Hispanic community of New Jersey by developing programs and initiatives that help the Hispanic community of New Jersey. And last week I was at a school called East Union School in North, and I was talking about what I do, and a young kid said to me, 7th grade said to me, if you can go back and change what you do today, and you can go back and become a doctor, would you do it? And I said no. I said no because I am happy what I do today, because I am making a difference, I'm helping people, and I believe in myself. And it has helped me, what I do for Latino kids today, what I do for Latinos in New Jersey, what I do for anybody in general in New Jersey, means that I'm helping myself, because I'm a better person, and I believe in myself. And that's why it's very important for you to believe in yourself. You will go through a lot of obstacles, and I did not go through obstacles of racism, family issues. I even go through health issues. And I still have not let that stop me. And I have not. And I'm going to show you something that I've never shown most classes. But I have to have an insulin pump. I'm a diabetic. And I wear this 24 hours a day. And most people would think, how can you do it? How can you work? I live in Jersey City. I travel 2 hours a day to my job. How can I do it when I have to be stuck to a machine 24 hours a day? But this is not going to stop me from doing what I need to do in this state, and doing what I need to do to do what I want, to help you as Latinos, to help our kids be tomorrow's generation. Thank you.
I met today. Somebody in my office told me, here is a gentleman whose mother is Puerto Rican, his father is Cuban, he is an attorney, he was a judge, and he resigned, and now he is running to be a freeholder. Well, my friend is talking to me, I'm painting a picture. We think in pictures, whether you realize it or not. When somebody tells you something, immediately you begin forming images. So I'm thinking that Miguel is a man about 60 or more years. This morning, I see this young man as I'm standing here with Mr. Ferrara. I figure he is one of the teachers, young teachers. Young, good-looking, lawyer, judge, running for public office. That is the next speaker, Miguel de la Carrera. Let's give him a big hand.
It's a real pleasure to be with you this morning. I'll tell you just a little bit about myself before we got part of the resume. I was born in Cuba with a father, New Yorican mother, like her, born in New York, of Puerto Rican parents. At your age, I didn't grow up in Paterson. At your age, I was going to school in Harlem, living in Washington Heights. But Paterson's been my city for many years now. I had the great fortune, and it's a great fortune which came to me through education. I'm going to be hammering that theme all morning. To have been able to attend Ivy League schools, Yale College, Columbia Law School. And I was able to do that not just because I was a smart guy who worked hard in school. A lot of people do that. But there have been people before me who had opened up the doors of opportunity to people with names like Miguel de la Carrera. Didn't used to be that way. All of you in this room here now have opportunities that didn't used to exist. Unfortunately, too few of us are taking advantage of those opportunities. When Mr. Torres asked you how many of you have dreams, I think it was less than half of you that raised your hands. That's bad. Every one of you should have had your hands up. Because the only way that you're going to get somewhere in this world, for yourself, for the children you will have someday, for your family, is by having dreams and working hard to fulfill those dreams. I resigned from my judgeship a couple months ago. I was a judge here in Paterson as a court the last 7 years. And the person who was taking that position last night, a young Dominican attorney, told us stories just last night. It was very similar to the story that Ms. Armand told you a few moments ago. She was the valedictorian of her class. She was born and raised here in Paterson. She was the valedictorian at Kennedy. And she was told by a guidance counselor that she was looking into what she might do after high school. She was thinking about college. She was thinking about professional careers. Guidance counselor told me, "Who are you kidding? You're a Spanish girl. Think about a secretarial job." Those attitudes are not encountered as much today as they once were, but they're still there. And the worst part is, when you have them there and you don't even know why. Many of you may never have someone who says anything that directly to your face, that you're not worth something, that you don't have the possibilities of reaching very high goals, whether it's as a doctor, whether it's as a business person, whether it's as a lawyer or a judge. You all have those possibilities within you. One of the things that I did when I was in municipal court was we had a truancy session. Parents or guardians who didn't do a good job getting their children or wards to attend school would be called into court. And I'd have to decide whether they should get fines or perhaps attend school with their kids as a penalty. Various things to try to cut down on truancy. Make sure the kids were in school. Why? Because every study that's ever been done has shown that one of the keys to succeeding in life is staying in school, attending every day, and giving it your best. Well, one of the things that I found in speaking, because the kids would come to court also, one of the things that I found was that a lot of those kids had no genuine appreciation for education. And I've encountered that in speaking to other groups of young people. There's a notion, and almost everyone in this room is African American or Hispanic. Attitudes that I've encountered among young African American and Hispanic youth has been not to worry about school. I don't want to get good grades and speaking English well. That's white. Somehow being white is a negative thing. That's no good. That's for the other people. That's not for our people. Nonsense. I was a history major in college, and I'm sure your teachers can tell you a whole lot more about this. You may recall there was an institution in this country called slavery. One of the laws that existed, and slavery was a legal institution. One of the laws that existed in connection with the institution of slavery was that it was illegal to teach a slave how to read and write. It was illegal. Now you may think, what's the big deal about reading and writing? The big deal, folks, is it's the most powerful tool there is. The slave owners knew that the way to keep people under control and powerless was to keep them from being able to read and write. Now you think, what's the big deal about reading and writing? Where does it get you? It gets you informed. It enables you to acquire knowledge. It enables you to exchange your knowledge with other people. That's where the real power is. And that's more true now than it was in the 19th century. Power comes through knowledge and the ability to communicate. You're the computer generation. You're the generation that's figuring out how to learning, how to acquire and disseminate, share information more quickly than ever. You have very powerful tools at your disposal, but you've got to use them. If you sit back and allow other people to convince you that, nah, getting good grades and doing well in school and speaking English well is white and not good. The only one you're shooting in the foot is yourself. The only one you're harming is yourself. Mr. Torres a little while ago also asked, how many people are going to be the ones to get the top prizes for the essay you're going to write about this conference this morning? Only about a dozen of you raised your hands. You should have all raised your hands. Because competition for that sort of thing is good. Competition is not a bad thing. Cheating to compete is a bad thing. But you should want to be the best. You should want to live to the fullest of your potential. I have 3 boys, ranging from 8, well, they're 8, 10, and 20. My 20-year-old will be 21 quite soon. Was into sports, still is. Was a very good football player, played a couple of high school championship games at Giant Stadium. Excellent football player. But most of that competition was on a sports field. He's in college now. Trust me, folks, he regrets not having listened to these words a little more carefully than he did. He's getting it in shape now, and now he's doing very well. But I don't want you to lose time. I don't want you to wake up when you're already in high school or beyond and say, you know what? Those people who came to speak to the school and the teachers I have who told me about how important education is, have the light bulb go on when it's a little bit too late. And say, you know, I really should have listened. The young girls who are not going to be careful about contraception and things of that sort, and you're old enough to know what these issues are about. Stay focused. Stay focused on getting ahead. Stay focused on living up to potential. All of you can do much more than you think you can. I wish you luck in those endeavors. By the way, discovered I have a sort of relative sitting in the room here. I'm not sure if he recognizes me, but he's smiling now, so he does. Nephew of my wife's. Nephew of a cousin of my wife. It's been a pleasure meeting you. If you have any questions, we're great for that and glad to answer them. Please think about these things. It's important. I love you.
How do you feel now? That's it. You feel better and better. You feel great. You feel very energetic today. You know, we had this program, as I mentioned at the beginning, throughout the schools in Hudson County and now for SAFE. I want to invite to the podium. Your principal has been so nice to allow us to come over here and bring this program to you. And before we go into the questions and answers, I'd like to invite Mrs. Rios. Let's give her a big hand.
My name is Doris. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't here this morning, but I know that Mr. Burrow welcomed our guests, and I'd like to welcome you and thank you. Thank you. I was excited when I found out that we would have the opportunity to have you meet some role models in our community. Something that we can all aspire to imitate or to follow, or someone that can inspire us to set goals for our future. Oftentimes we feel, well, the Paterson reminded us that, I'm going to go through, because I think I've had this conversation with you before, have I not? I've gone into Washington and had this conversation with you. And if the moon is the limit, guys, the sky is the limit, you have to set your goals. But the key, I am sure that every one of the guest speakers here tonight this morning said, is what? What is the key? And education, ladies and gentlemen. And education, because through that education, you acquire the skills that you need to move on. And it even starts here at the school level, where you're in high school. If you allow us to educate you, if you going to acquire something that's called communication skills. And that is so important for relationships even here in the school. So that you can have communication with the teachers, so you can communicate with each other, so that you can have healthy relationships. You know, that it's really key. I heard Mr. Guerrero say something about someone being encouraged to be a secretary. Okay? I had that experience as well. I was told, and this is the advice given to me, Ms. Quinones, that was my middle name. Ms. Quinones, of course, was back in the 60s, so I guess I didn't know the times. Ms. Quinones considered going and becoming a secretary. And that way, you can help mom with the younger ones. It was a younger one, it was only one that was younger. Who was a teacher now. I didn't want to be a secretary, I always wanted to be a teacher. But I was being told at the time, A, they're not college material, B, you need to help mom with the younger ones. And then of course, history went on after that. I did go on to college, and I was able to acquire 2 master's degrees. And I enjoy, I love my work. I like to work with students, and I like to help be able to feel that I help someone who is not getting everything that they need, or they're just doing things tough for a parent. When I left Paterson in 1971, I spent 6 years in the Alabama Puerto Rico. There wasn't a Hispanic person on TV, unless the Spanish channel, and there was only African Americans. There was nothing you can attest to that. When I came back in 1977, I was shocked, and I'd be shocked when I saw an African American on TV. I said, wow, what's going on? We've come a long way. We have come a long way. A judge, a lawyer, real estate, is that right? Insurance, and the State Department. This Hispanic affairs. When did you hear that in the past? Boys and girls, I hope that you've been listening, and I hope that you're setting goals for yourself. Okay? I hope that you are listening and setting goals for yourself. We need to educate ourselves on the first few people you've already heard. And the sky is the limit. And when you see role models, you have excellent teachers who are African American in the school and throughout the house. You have administrators. You can go into any field, but you have to do your part. Okay? Again, I would like to thank you for coming and sharing your experiences. I wish, I'm glad that this is happening. And I wish it happened in every school, because the children need to see how far we can go, as a group. Okay, I don't know where the music coming from. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm giving it again to Mr. Doris, and again, thank you so very much. We welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Let's give your principal a big hand. There is a gentleman who has been very cooperative from time one, from the first time that I called. We've been talking a few times, and this gentleman is terrific. He's been very cooperative. Even yesterday, I wanted to call around 2 o'clock or earlier than that. Mr. Ferrara gave me a call to make sure that everything was in place for today. Let's give Mr. Ferrara, your assistant principal, a big hand.
You know, everybody has stories, and I'm not different. When I came to this country, I didn't speak a word of English. And I told probably some of you in some of the classes that I was placed in kindergarten. I was 9 years old, and I was placed in kindergarten. You know how it made me feel? This big. You know, because I did not speak English, you were placed in kindergarten. I had to do something for myself. I had to show them, the teachers, the administration at that time, in the 50s and the 60s, that I was better than in kindergarten. I wasn't 4 grades below level. They finally placed me in a class. After about 4 months, I gradually spent a week in kindergarten, then I spent 2 weeks in first grade, and then in second grade. Then by the end of the 4th month, I finally went to the 4th grade. 4th grade, I failed 5 subjects. My parents didn't speak English. I didn't know a word. I didn't know what to do. So finally, I said to myself, because and this is why I always tell you, you have to do it for yourself, not for anybody else. I wasn't about to fail. In the 5th grade, I was promoted at that time on probation. I was promoted from 4th grade to 5th on probation. Because they didn't really like to leave people back because I was older than everybody else. In probation, in the 5th grade, I said to myself, my mother's not going to help me, my father's not going to help me. My brother was in the same boat as I was, and my sister got left back as soon as she got back into the school, so they weren't going to help me. I had to help myself. And that's what I had to do. It was a struggle from the 5th grade on to learn English a little bit at a time. And then I ended up learning more and more until at certain points I learned more than the children that were born in America. Yes, in high school, then I told one of the classes, I didn't learn the alphabet, the 26 letters of the alphabet when I was a freshman in high school. I was embarrassed because I couldn't recite the alphabet, the entire 26 letters. Because you're always struggling to learn new words. And it wasn't easy at the beginning. But I kept on and I kept on, and I ended up going to Montclair State. And then I got a master's in Montclair State and also B Paterson College. And I'm here today, many, many years later. But it wasn't an easy struggle. Nobody gives you anything. You have to do it for yourself. And this is what I tell you. It's got to come from your heart, and you have to do it for yourself. It'll make your teachers happy, you'll make your parents happy, but you have to make yourself happy. And that's what I want to leave you with. And I want to thank all of the people that came here this morning, from the studios, for giving us the opportunity for everybody to be here. Thank you.
I noticed in the hall, I saw a poster that says, share your world with future generations. This is exactly what these 2 gentlemen and this attractive young lady are doing here today, sharing their world with future generations, you. They're giving you the benefit of their experiences. You know what? They're giving you knowledge, whether you realize it or not. And knowledge is power. Yes?
What was the biggest challenge that you thought you weren't going to succeed on the work of your
What was the biggest challenge?
Yeah, that you thought that they weren't going to succeed. It was such a big challenge.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
What was your biggest challenge when you thought that you weren't going to accomplish your goal?
What was the biggest challenge when you thought you were not going to accomplish your goal? Who wants to take that one?
Go down the line.
My biggest challenge is my health. Having to deal with it day to day and still be able to accomplish what I want. But you're right, it's a challenge, not an obstacle, and the only obstacle that you will find is you. Everything else is just challenges in life. And that's the biggest challenge for me, dealing with my health.
Thank you.
It's a tough one. It's really just a very, I don't know, it's a personal one. I don't even know how useful it is, but it had to do, if any of you wind up going to law, maybe you'll remember this a little bit. Just first year of law school is one of the most miserable experiences a human being can have. And I say it somewhat facetiously, but I went from the college situation where you're taught to broaden your horizons and explore all sorts of things. And first year of law school, particularly a place like Columbia, they have a certain approach to making you think like a lawyer. And there is a point to it. There is a certain way that you focus on issues as a lawyer, but that transition into it beat the heck out of me. And there were moments there when I was thinking of packing it in. Somehow I persevered, and I think having used my student loan money to take a trip spring break instead of doing something else helped remind me there was a world beyond first year of law school, and got through exams and everything else a lot better after that. But I don't know how useful that experience is.
My time was, I have to compete with my competition. I have to, of course, work hard to try to make better. With hard work, it's a professional work. You have to be always follow the rule, follow the road, and you will succeed. It's not easy, but you will succeed if you want to succeed. But what is not easy, you have to go to other challenges. You will notice that you are big.
Because you have to be out of, I think it's the cafeteria by 20 to 11, I'm going to take one more question. Really happy. Who's got? One more question, yes.
When I came to Peru after 29 years ago, I felt like strange. I didn't speak the English at all. So I went to school. The first thing that I did at that time was to enroll in college, because I was going to college in Peru too. But my problem was the language, of course. So I went to night school, I tried to learn the English. So I was enrolled at B Paterson State College at that time. After 3 more years, I got my degree in business administration. But it was not easy from the beginning. I didn't feel too good because I came alone. I didn't come with my family at the time. I was the first person in my family that came to this country. Now 80% of my family are here. All my nephews are American now. I feel great now with all my family here. It's different.
Thank you. I'd like the teachers in the room to please stand up. Teachers, please stand up. Big for them. Big applause for them. In the beginning, I told you that each one of you is a diamond. And so it comes to mind that if you are diamonds, the 4 or 5 teachers that stood up right now are what? Diamond polishers. Let's give them a big hand. We're talking about dreams, and some of you, despite what you heard today, may look yourself in the mirror and say, well, I'm a Hispanic, I'm a Puerto Rican, I'm a Dominican, and a Cuban, Equatorian, etc. My dreams in this country, they're not going to happen. Or you could look at yourself in the mirror and say, look at me, I'm Afro-American, my dream cannot happen. Let me tell you, you're wrong. You're not Afro-Americans, you're not Peruvians, you're not Puerto Ricans, you're not Italians, you're not Irish, you are human beings. You are children of God. And God gave you all the tools you need to succeed in life. All you have to do is stop feeling sorry for yourself, like we do sometimes. We blame our parents, our friends, the government, the neighborhood, the teachers, the school. Nonsense. Life is about you. It was said before by one of the speakers. You are responsible for your own life from now on. When you were a child, your parents cared for you. They decided when you were going to be fed, when you were going to be bathed, when you were going to be sleeping, etc., etc. After 12, you are in your own, ladies and gentlemen. Don't look at you in the mirror and feel sorry for yourself or feel that this life wasn't for you. On the contrary, we as minority have great opportunities if we know how to take advantage of them. If we have first respect for ourselves. Second, if we believe in ourselves. You have dreams? I tell you what. Decide precisely in what it is that you want to be in life. A doctor, a lawyer, a businessman, a teacher, a scientist, who knows, whatever it is that you want to be, you could accomplish in life so long that number one, and this, make mental notes of this. Number one, if you believe in yourself. Number two, visualize it. Visualize yourself accomplishing whatever it is that you want in life. You want to be a doctor? Visualize yourself acting as a doctor. Begin now. Then expect it to happen. Many of us say, I want to be this, I want to do that, I want to accomplish the other thing. But then that reminds me of this little village where it didn't rain for many months and people used to go to church every day to pray for rain. And then never rained. And one day, the preacher put all the congregation together and told them, you have to come to church tomorrow and really pray. You are praying without faith. That's why we don't get the rain. And the following day, the whole town went to church. And when they got out of church, they said, now it's going to rain. Because today we really prayed with faith. None of them brought an umbrella. They didn't have the faith they thought they had. And that's what happened to us. I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher, but who cares about the homework? I'm too tired. However, what's happening in television is more important than my homework. And if I miss a half day of class, who cares? You, whatever you want to be, believe me, every time you complete your homework, every time you are thoroughly looking into that homework, making sure that it's perfect, that is already saying to me that you are on your way to accomplish whatever it is that you want in life. So expect it, work for it, and be persistent. You know what? You heard it here. Life is about ups and downs. That's why you have to be persistent. Because it's very, very easy to discourage yourself And I'm talking about yourself. But there are other influences. What, do you want to be a doctor? Who told you that you could be a doctor? I don't think you'll ever make it. Those are dream killers. Don't let those dream killers dream and steal your dreams. Look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you see there. You'll make your dreams. What are you going to do first? Believe in yourself. Second, you're going to visualize it. Thirdly, you're going to expect it. You're going to expect my son, ever since he learned to speak. He wanted to be a doctor. He, year after year, what do you want Richard Santa Claus to bring you? Medical kits. He is a very successful doctor today. Ever since he was 3 years of age, he began saying he wanted to be a doctor. And he started to work at that age to be a doctor in the manner you have explained before. Expect it, persist. And you know what? The judge mentioned reading. Read anything, but read. Because when you read, you gain what? You gain knowledge. And knowledge is power. And with power, what you do is you reach for the stars. You want to get one. I like to